These statistics apply solely to the United States. According to the Department of Justice and the United States Center for Disease Control and Prevention, 300,000 to 1.3 million are raped each year. This range includes a low and high estimate. Within the United States, 1 in 5 women have the chance to be raped, and approximately 1 in 71 men have the chance to be raped. About 54% of those rapes will go unreported. From these rapes, approximately 32,000 women will become impregnated, and in 31 states, the rapist has the power to sue for custody or visitation. As I relayed these statistics to my CR group, they were surprised at the latter half of the second bullet point. The probability of men being victims of rape was unusual to them because they portray men as being dominant and feel they should have easily been able to throw a woman off if she was attempting to rape him. However, rape affects all genders and should not be taken lightly or as a joke. Additionally, the last bullet point came as the biggest shock to my CR group. They were unaware someone who committed rape could walk free and take custody of the unplanned child, or even be allowed to visit the child. Because within that process, the rapist would have had to admit to raping the victim in order to prove paternity. We discussed how traumatizing this could be for the victim and how our society needs to work on protecting the victim from the rapist instead of allowing numerous rights to a criminal. We then moved on to talk about the scenario that recently happened at Harvard University, how a student was sexually assaulted, and when she asked the school to move the rapist across campus so she wouldn't have to see him and be reminded of the traumatic event every day, the school refused. My CR group found this astonishing that Harvard would refuse to help the victim. One woman wondered why she didn't move herself or go to a different college. We responded with the fact that the victim should not have to be obligated to surrender her life again in order not to see the rapist. The school should have granted her request. On the note of switching schools, Harvard is a prestigious school, and it would not be fair for her to be forced to drop out because the school does not comply. My CR group discussed a few different athletes who had been charged with rape. The first athlete brought up was Kobe Bryant, as he was charged with rape a while back, and basically most people have forgotten that had ever happened. We discussed how he had to pay fines and change his jersey number, and that was about it, and he was set free. We also talked about the high school football players who were charged with rape, and everyone focused on how their careers were going to be destroyed, and not the fact that the victims are going to be traumatized for the rest of their lives, and their lives are going to be destroyed. Then, we proceeded to discuss how rape jokes are a common normalized thing within society, and most people, even if uncomfortable, do not speak out against them. I asked my CR group if they ever spoke out against rape jokes. They all said no, but they said they would actively think about it the next time it happened in front of them. I know some people refrain from speaking out against rape jokes so they don't seem the stereotypical uptight person who can't take a joke, but we need to start speaking out against rape jokes because it's a way to normalize an issue that needs to be talked about. Rape jokes present in the popular TV sitcom Two Broke Girls came up in conversation. In one episode, Max, the main brunette character, said in a mocking voice, "Someone date raped me and I don't think I'd live through it, but I did and I'm stronger and still needy." I asked the group how they felt this contributed to rape culture. One responded with the fact that it makes date rape seem like an insignificant event, which then makes people think it's okay. Another responded with the fact that it makes the victim look whiny and helpless when people should be helping them recover and not making fun of them. Take Back the Night originated in 1977 in Pittsburgh after Anae Garcia was acquitted for murdering the man that held her down while another man was raping her. Take Back the Night is an anti-rape march, and in 1999 it became an official charitable event thanks to Katie Costner. Its purpose is to end sexual assault, domestic violence, dating violence, sexual abuse, and all other forms of sexual violence. Only one person in my CR group had ever heard about Take Back the Night, but she still had not attended it. A few others thought it would be a cool event to attend, but don't know if they would actively search for a date. All of the women in my CR group were drawn to the candlelit vigil with a moment of silence honoring victims. They were also intrigued by the fact survivors openly shared their stories. They felt it showed a sense of strength, and it was something they don't know they would have the power to do. Take Back the Night is an event you can start in your hometown by gathering your community for a night to honor all those victimized by rape culture. My CR group appeared more interested in the Take Back the Night event. However, I've always been intrigued by the Slut Walk and hope one day to attend. The first Slut Walk took place on April 3, 2011 in Toronto, Ontario. Two women, Heather Jarvis and Sonia Barnett, founded the Slut Walk to shift the paradigm of the mainstream rape culture, which they believe focuses on analyzing the behavior of the victim rather than that of the perpetrator. The two women were expecting approximately 200 to 300 participants. However, to their surprise, upwards of 3,000 people showed up. After I provided numerous pictures of various slut walks, my CR group was astonished at how women will show up to the march shirtless or even naked, and it makes them too uncomfortable to even want to attend. However, I explained that the nudity was a way to exemplify the fact that it does not matter what a person is wearing, it is no excuse for rape. This led us into a conversation about children being raped, where clothing clearly has nothing to do with it. I asked the question, do you ever try on a dress at a store and then proceed to not get it because you don't want to be raped? Everyone answered no. Clothing should not be an excuse to be raped, and we should not have to actively think if our clothing warrants a rape or not. Some people have admitted to agreeing with the saying, "she was asking for it," when they saw a rape victim on TV. Yet now, they vow to actively think against it. There are numerous signs brought to slutwalk events that make you question how society could ever blame the victim. For example, during the first slutwalk, a participant brought a sign that read, "It was Christmas Day. I was 14 and raped in a stairwell wearing snowshoes and layers. Did I deserve it too?" I think the founders of the Slut Walk are making a great advancement in rape culture because I think a lot of people do not realize how much we focus on the behavior of victims instead of the perpetrator. I discussed several ways to fight rape culture with my CR group. A key step is naming the real problem and re-examining or reimagining masculinity. In our society, we tend to blame victims for being raped and assume rape is inherent in masculinity. But rape is not a normal masculine urge. While dealing with a rape case, a question that needs to be asked instead of "what was she wearing" is "what made the rapist think this was okay?" Another way to fight rape culture is to be enthusiastic about consent and spread the enthusiasm to your friends and family. Enthusiastic consent is the idea that we are all responsible to make sure our partners are actively into what's ever going on between us sexually, which shifts people from looking for a no to looking for an active yes. Also, it is a good thing to become literate on the topic of rape culture, and while surfing the web, make sure you use credible sources and ask the right questions about who is creating the media source so you do not educate yourself with someone who holds beliefs in white supremacy and patriarchy. It is also nice to take an intersectional approach while learning about rape culture. Be aware that a lot of stories from women and LGBTQ members do not make the headlines. Don't forget that there are more than two clear-cut genders. Try moving those vulnerable from the margin to the center of focus. Another approach is to include things into your everyday life. Speak out against your friends who condescend other people with words like slut and whore in a friendly and patient way. It may take repetition, but it'll make a great difference. A bigger step would be trying to lobby within your community. A simple form is reporting abuse on social media sites, or you could even create a group on a college campus or within your community to help spread awareness. If there already exists a group, you can join it. Most of these actions will hopefully make not laughing at rape or rape jokes obvious and easy. The problem with laughing is that it enables rapists. You might assume most people are not rapists, but in a rapist mindset, they assume most people are. Speak up against rape and rape jokes in order to make everyone aware that it is not okay. This will be one of the hardest ways to fight rape culture and might not apply to everyone. If possible, share your story. A personal narrative creates connections to the issue and support for present and future victims. Even if you are not comfortable with telling a large audience, you can start by telling the story to yourself in a mirror. My CR meeting on rape culture lasted a couple hours. I held it at my house with snacks and beverages. 6 women showed up ready to learn and discuss. I opened my meeting by making the women aware they were allowed to leave at any time if they felt uncomfortable. They were able to go to a safe place in my basement to relax and were not to feel pressured to stay if uncomfortable. I then proceeded by sharing numerous rape statistics and examples of how rape culture exists in our everyday lives. After I relayed some information, I opened the floor and asked my CR group if any of the information surprised them. We went around the circle and everyone shared their thoughts. We then led into conversations about celebrities that have been charged with rape or have partaken in rape culture. I brought up a few names and let my CR group discuss what they thought the person had to do with rape culture. Some of the people my group discussed that I did not include in the presentation were Woody Allen, Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson, R. Kelly, and more. We then moved on to discussions about rape culture with popular TV sitcoms. I played a short video clip I found on YouTube that was a compilation of various TV shows with rape jokes. One of the most common shows was Two Broke Girls, which a majority of my CR group watched regularly. We discussed the kind of impact this had on society and if it was acceptable. We then transitioned into ways to fight rape culture and ways to get rid of it in society. I introduced two events, Take Back the Night and the Slut Walk. One person in my CR group had heard of Take Back the Night, but the rest were eager to learn about more. My CR group took more to Take Back the Night, mainly for its charitable feature and candlelit vigil. All in all, the CR meeting was inspirational because it opened my eyes to how little people actually know about rape culture. It encourages me to stand up against rape culture and make people aware that it is truly a problem worth fighting. I don't know if I would necessarily hold another CR meeting, but I definitely want to join a few groups that deal with rape culture in hopes to make a difference and spread awareness.